Look at this. And capitalism before it ends us. 2024. They want to go to socialism, to communism, to Satanism. Class War 2024. Neither party represents the working class. You see that right there. Evolutionary Communists of America. Now, guess what? This is going where it belongs. In the garbage can. That's where it belongs.
Been one of the more startling transformations of society over the last several decades. In the political sphere, communism exploited loopholes in the legal and political systems of democratic nations in an attempt to manipulate major political parties. For electoral victory, politicians resorted to dirty tricks and made promises that they could never fulfill. The result of the influence of communism,
and that's
that
what
political
the
parties
Harris
around the world
campaign
are
is
often
doing.
somewhere on the left of the political spectrum, advocating higher taxes, higher social welfare expenditures, big government, and interventionism, all of which they seek to entrench in more left-leaning candidates. The Academy, which is supposed to play the role of transmitting the essence of the wisdom and culture of the ages, has also been subverted. In the first half of the 20th
challenge ballots from possible non-citizens. Add more after the break.
As a matter of fact, what is it in this area that has been hit so hard in terms of the economy? I know for a lot of the younger folks, finding a job, finding a decent paying job for them. One of my other son's fiance, she had hell looking for a job. She had
what's the biggest issue? What matters to you
something making
most?
decent pay.
Who'd you vote for? Kamala Harris.
I think about women's rights, not just one race or anything, but just being for the people, for the elderly, to make sure that everybody's going to be in a better place. Not just segregating anyone, but it's for everybody. So we all can live and thrive.
And they just raised taxes on retirees.
Of the United States.
I'm a member of the United States Air Force, and any opinion I give here is solely as a civilian and does not reflect necessarily the views of the Department of Defense.
Who'd you vote for, if you don't mind me asking?
I voted for the Republican candidate for president. When Trump was president, I feel like I was better off economically. I felt like my dollar went further and my gas tank filled up faster, as opposed to the past 4 years.
Who'd you vote for?
Trump.
So, in terms of policy, what is it that resonated with you? So, where is Georgia's 16 important electoral college votes going to go? Well, we're here on the ground in Georgia to get a read on which way the state will swing, Trump or Harris.
And they're making sense.
Trump or Harris?
They want to have a place where they can be popular.
I don't want a government that big. I want a government small enough to do what it's supposed to do, not what it's not supposed to be doing. And I think that's just the bigger. And we laugh about it, but there's a bigger principle here as you look at it. What is the what was the purpose? Look, there's a lot going on tonight. I think we got the next little bit coming up with what's going to be, I believe, the new president. And I agree with you about calling states, but yet we call about 4 or 5 other states that are a lot further out margin-wise than what we already seen. So, I mean, it's just a matter of calling. Others have called Georgia already. It's just a matter of time. I think you got a new time coming in. I think most people forget in 2016, because I was in Congress at the time, one of the biggest things in 2017, most Republicans were wondering how much Donald Trump would actually work with the Democrats. That was a big concern, actually. They said, was he going to, because he was an unknown quantity in the Republican Party. Absolutely. And they said, will he actually, negotiate with Nancy Pelosi? Will he actually work with Chuck Schumer? And the interesting thing was, in that first few months, he actually tried and was turned away. And then it got bitter with the FBI, with Mueller, and then we went into impeachments and we went everything else.
Can you walk back from that?
Now, and I think possibly we can, because again, I go back to something with all of everything that happened in those 4 years, which everybody knew the 4 years. He didn't do the things that they said he was going to do. He didn't get us into wars. He didn't tear up the Constitution. He didn't suspend rights. He didn't do all these kind of things. And by the way, when the court said he couldn't do something, he quit. Unlike the administration we just had. So I think this is the thing that, again,
I don't know if January 6th agrees with that.
Well, but again, prosecutors are prosecutors. Prosecutors are prosecutors. It's a different issue. And by the way, as a defense attorney, I know they could prosecute these cases a lot further than what they're doing if they wanted to. They're using it. So I think the other thing is here, they need to prosecute whatever they need to prosecute. But I'm going back to the President of the United States, who was told you cannot do student loans. He said, I'm going to do it anyway. And he said, we're not going to have this house back. You can't do it. We're going to do it anyway. Trump never did that. Ever. But yet was accused of it all the time. So can he walk it back? Sure. Because here's the thing. I don't think he ever had to walk anything back.
Well, he spent the last 4 years saying, don't trust the government, and now he is the government.
Well, imagine
so he has
why.
to bridge that gap.
He was the target of the government from the time he went down the escalator. They were spying on his first campaign, and then illegal in the White House.
There's a feed right now that we're taking a look at.
And
where,
walking away.
The vice president and his supporters are actually leaving and exiting the watch party there. So this could be a strong indicator as to where things are heading. And
yeah, they were just told once. You want to speak?
We are also hearing word that former President Trump will supposedly be speaking at 1 a.m. So we'll be keeping an eye out on that and bringing you that speech if it comes. Now, when it comes to his speech, if he does become the government, what are you expecting?
Instead of negative tweets.
Donald can communicate with Mr. Putin as he has done in the past.
More safety for the American Jewish population. We've seen American Jews being targeted, according to the FBI, the ADL, and police departments across the country in major cities.
Both sides of the aisle need to come together and work as one group, because they're all pulling the same direction. We'll get a lot of stuff done that's going to make our country better.
In the sight of God, we are all equals, and we need to put aside the political parties, because we are Americans.
bringing our discussion back in studio.